The static's getting worse now.
No, that's a bag.
Okay.
Well,
Alright, we are live.
thank you.
Alright. Hello, everyone. Ace here. The static's getting worse.
Xerius, as always.
And today we are back with another live stream, another Ace cast. So, we've got some stories to cover today, so let's jump right into it, shall we? Xerius, do you want to take the first one, or shall I?
Nah, you can start us off.
Alright, well, I know you're going to be talking about the Warhammer animations, so probably best to start off with something a little bit different. So let's talk about Battlefield, the upcoming Battlefield. Excuse me. Because it turns out that around 80% of the trailer has now been leaked as of this point, apparently. In fact, all the audio and 80% of the footage.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
According to Tom Henderson, anyways. And, yeah. So, someone has even decided to compile the leaks, images, and whatnot into what the trailer should look like. Volt Shock here. Thank you very much for showing the leaked trailer screenshots with audio and no watermarks. So, I'll just play that, actually. Well, first let me get Xerius here a link. Now, admittedly, most of it is still images because, again, this is a leaked trailer, so with a whole bunch of still images, audio, and whatnot. But yeah, 80% of the content, you can basically get an idea of what's going on. Here we go. Now, let's start it. 1, 2, 3. So, I will say that at least this seems like it's going to be a far better trailer than Battlefield 5. There's, like I said, there's going to be some blank spots and some still images, as you can see here. I do like the idea of going into the near future, which is what seems to be going on with this particular entry. As you can see, we've got robots and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a situation, and like I said, there's a lot of still images, whatnot, from this, but you have an idea of what the trailer is going to look like, so before the trailer is even actually officially dropped, or the game has even officially been announced, I think. Which is a hilarious situation, in my opinion. Now, I did hear...
Derp.
Yeah. Alfarius says if BF6 is another BF1, then I might just buy it as in the same quality. I think it might... We might have something genuinely interesting, perhaps, but I would want to see more. And Brother LA says, hello, made it on time. Indeed you have. What we are looking at is the latest leaks from Battlefield 6, or just Battlefield, which now officially, as mentioned before, Brother LA, 80% of the trailer has leaked. All the audio and 80% of the visuals, basically. Well, they say that, but it's mostly still images, but again, you know what's going on from these still images. So, excuse me. Xerius, what are your thoughts on this?
Another Battlefield game. Big whoop.
I mean, on the one hand, yeah. On the other hand, after the disaster piece that was Battlefield 5, I'm kind of curious to see if DICE has at least learned their lesson this time. Who knows? It might actually be decent. you never quite know, and there is possibility that this will have bot support and stuff like that. And if that is the case, then that would make this game significantly better compared to your typical stuff. Optimus Jedi asks, are there still amputee women fighting on the beaches of Normandy? They actually had to get rid of that because of the backlash. They actually got rid of some of that, at least some of that, before the game even dropped, from what I understand. But here's how bad it was, right? So, the game Battlefield 5, what was supposed to be the most immersive World War II shooter ever created, and they didn't even bother getting historically accurate uniforms till pretty much towards the end of the game's life cycle. Solon the Lich says gender field vagina. I mean, yeah. I just referred to that particular character as the Bionic Femando, but anyway, so yeah, that's the first story, the Battlefield trailer leaks that are leaking the game faster than DICE can put it out, which is probably a sign that DICE should probably just release the trailer before too much damage is done, and everyone's surprised as well. I mean, to be fair, I will say that at this point, a lot of people have already seen this. But Brother Olay says, why can't the video game companies let leaks like this to encourage trailer advertisement, or am I just being hopeful? Who knows? At this point, one has to wonder if these leaks aren't being somewhat deliberately put out by DICE, but I don't know. I've never seen it be this bad for a game. Well, okay, I take that back. If you want to talk about actual games and not just the trailer, then I can think of worse examples, like Half-Life 2 getting its source code stolen and then just leaked online. That was pretty terrible, admittedly. But a trailer specifically, is getting that much of the trailer leaked out like that is pretty impressive. The only exceptions I can think of are when a game has just not been released and they weren't going to announce it, and someone from the old dev studio just decides to put out old trailer footage, i.e. the original Star Wars Battlefront 3, but I digress. Josh Cadman says, where's the trans robot? From what I'm seeing, they might have actually moved away from being woke, so yeah. So that is the first story. So, Xerius, are you up for... we have a comment from Optimus Jedi. Alright, let me fix that here. I just turned the... Apparently the chat's on top chat there, so let me fix that. Optimus Jedi says, frankly, unless the game comes with a signed apology, DICE and anyone involved in Battlefield can go F themselves. I would say that if the game came with bot support, that would pretty much be a apology in its own right. If they fix the game, I'm the sort of person that believes that actions speak louder than words. So if they actually fix their IP and make a decent, solid Battlefield game with things like bot support and things like that, I would count that more or less as an apology to me. Like I said, actions speak louder than words, right? But anyway, so yeah, that's the first story. So, Xerius, would you be willing to jump into one of the first things you're going to be covering? And I think we know which it is going to be.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I do believe you already have a tab open for it.
I actually have two, depending on where you want to start with this. Solon the Lich says... Oh, hold on. Hold on. I do have a comment. Solon the Lich says, not sure if the leaks are legit. No male soldiers making out in the firefight. All right, so, sorry, but go ahead.
So, just the other day, the Warhammer team had decided that they are going to preview, well, quote-unquote preview, their new animation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And As usual and unsurprising as always, it was disappointing as hell.
Yep.
Let's see, what did we get? We got a quote-unquote teaser trailer full of stuff that half the stuff we've already seen. Siri, go away.
Yep, so there is...
Excuse me, Siri? I did not... Go away, I did not wake you up. Stupid iPhone. Sorry, technical difficulties.
Alright.
So yeah, anyway. The quote-unquote teaser trailer was horrible, lazy, and full of stuff we've already seen. Particularly Angels of Death, and if anyone remembers that 9th edition cinematic trailer that they made. They threw a bunch of those clips of dialogue in there because reasons. Because laziness. And come on, let's be honest, they wouldn't be bothered to actually put effort into this stuff. But yeah, after that, and we're gonna ignore the boring ass Twitch stream that they did, which was basically just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, trying to hype this up as, oh, the best thing ever. Which, no, this is mediocre at best. Anyway. So, we finally get to the next disappointing part, which is titles.
And voices, yeah.
Literally, the rest of it was titles with voiceovers.
Well, there is one
That is
bit...
it.
No, there is one thing after that, towards the very end. You got something like 7 minutes of footage from, I think, from one of the animations. I believe the Angels of Death.
Yeah. Watch the opening scenes of Angels of Death.
So yes.
Yeah, good luck trying to watch that without having a seizure with that stupid black and red filter that they went for.
To be fair, the particular animator that works on this is the same guy that did Hell's Reach, so I'm pretty sure
Yeah, I know.
he has a thing for artsy
but that
styles.
Doesn't change the fact that the filter hurts my eyes beyond belief. I cannot look at that for more than 1 minute, and my eyes feel like they're just bleeding. So I'm probably not going to watch it, or if I am, it's probably going to be for a few minute bursts. Point being, I don't like the filter, and it's dumb.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get to these titles. So, we get a few returning names here. Iron Within is that Iron Warriors animation. AKA one of the animators that got sucked up by GW. We also have the Exodite.
Astartes 2.
I still don't like the look of the towel that they designed for it. It looks way too plastic, way too fake. I don't like it personally. And yes, Astartes 2, because apparently, well, we haven't actually seen anything from it yet. But if it's supposed to be a continuation of the story that we've already gotten, why?
Well, they did.
That was it ended. It was such a nice ending.
Well,
It left you with no definite answers. It left you asking questions, theorizing what happened next, what happened.
Well, that's all true, but it did also hint at something afterwards, as well. So there is that, and it could be that there is going to be Astartes 2. Because we did get a sneak peek of something right after the credits rolled, so that could be it.
Yeah, he did hint a few other animations of other chapters fighting other things, such as Tyranids and orcs and stuff.
So that's probably.
So I'm hoping it's that and not just a straight continuation of the first Astartes story.
Indeed. Let's see. So, let me read some of the comments here. Alfarius says, this Warhammer thing makes me feel like the English dub Diavolo. Dragon of Dragons says, Warhammer Plus may have the content that was on YouTube for free. Alfarius says, may have, it will. Brother Lay says, we got voices from the announcement. Yay. Yeah, exactly. It was disappointing. An animation preview where the main focus was the audio. That is...
Yeah, and titles. Don't forget the titles. There's so many titles.
Oh, yes. Dragon of Dragons says, I would not put it past GW to not do that. Oh, we'll probably be talking... Well, either I will be bringing up what's coming next, or Xerius will. I'm not sure if he wants to cover the other bit with regards to this announcement, or if I should. Optimus Jedi says, mediocre at best is the perfect summary of this whole thing. Yep. Well, I would say disappointing, even more than mediocre.
Yeah, that's true.
Optimus Jedi says, I completely agree, the black and red is absolutely awful. Angels of Death section there, to me it looks low resolution to me. And that's disappointing since it came from the Hell's Reach animator. Dragon says, I don't mind the filter. Alfari says, what made you build an Astartes 2 right next to the original? Money! Brother Lay says, remember the Lamenters? Josh Cadman says, somehow this reminds me of the Marvel roadmap.
Oh yeah,
something else I need to talk
given
about.
Was Lamenters, what was Lamenters versus Orcs. Now that you've reminded me of that, I'm actually half excited for it.
Optimus Jedi says Astartes introduced so many people to 40k, similar to how Dawn of War introduced myself and many others to the universe. Yeah, I did. I did specifically show Astartes to some people that were new to it, to 40k, just to get them interested, and it seemed to have worked. So that is true. Anyways, so any more thoughts on the event, Xerius?
Well, I'm more interested in talking about some of these titles we got here.
Okay.
Starting off strong with a totally not Marvel Studios designed logo for Hammer and Bolter.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do we have here? An anthology of animated stories featuring characters and factions from across the worlds of Warhammer. Okay. Hammer and Bolter has something for every Warhammer fan.
Okay, so...
You better not go down the route that other companies have, is all I'll say about that.
You know they will. It's GW we're talking about.
Yeah, but if I'm gonna have hope, I might as well have just a little bit of hope that they don't. But in reality, they might. They probably will.
Fair enough. Alright, so next we have Angels of Death.
Right. Angels of Death. Blech. Oh, excuse me. Oh. That was a big bubble that came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Battered by warp storms, a small band of blood angels finds safe harbor above an isolated world. All is not as it seems, though, and soon the scions of Sanguinius have fresh foes to contend with. Yeah, Gene Stealer cults. How... yay, I suppose. Let's see how they screw this up. Actually, let's see how much they screw all of this up. You know, this... What are you purring at, cat? Bloody hell. Speaky Anyway. But, yeah.
Alright, so the next one would be...
Bloody hell.
So the next one would be the Exodite, right? Which
The
is going to be
Exodite.
the Tal-themed one.
Yep. In the midst of a brutal conflict, a Tau stealth team must undertake a critical mission against the armies of the Imperium. But the Tau aren't the only force vying for dominion here, and powers far older and more mysterious are at play. This seems to suggest Necrons, which... Necrons versus Tau? Yeah, I suppose I could be up for that.
I mean, considering it's Tal, you could argue everyone is far older and more mysterious.
Yeah, Eldar, Chaos...
You could
Orcs.
Yeah, which is
Kinda.
hilarious when you think about it.
Oaks is the bush. The meanest and the greenest. We's gotta bear up those blue skins. Whereabouts coats.
Orcs are the Todd Howard of the 40k universe. Change my mind. It just works.
No, you know what? Yeah. Oh, it's a meme I saw earlier today. A guy blowing a dart at a crocodile. Feral orcs using yellow painted darts after they watched... What was it? Bad Moons? Bad Moons shooting missiles painted yellow. And then the crocodile blows up.
Yep.
It just works.
These was painted yellow, therefore it explodes. So darts, paint them yellow, they gotta explode.
Oh, I love orcs.
Brother Olay says the Exodite had Eldar and Space Marines. Where the hell are they?
No. Okay, this is a very common misunderstanding. Those are not Eldar. The things you see running across the screen in that first thing, that was Kroot, not Eldar. You can tell by the shape and coloring, if you actually look closely at it. Just saying.
Maybe, so next we have Iron Within.
Which I assume is going to be... It's either going to be 40k, or it's going to be a Horus Heresy animation.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if it's going to be Horus Heresy, I sure hope to God this guy knows what he's doing. Because being part of the Horus Heresy fanbase, myself...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these guys are hard. They are very unforgiving when it comes to mistakes like this, especially from Games Workshop and Forge World themselves. So something official that's been screwed up, they will tear that to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the regular Warhammer community, which would just suck Games Workshop's dick.
I mean,
But
I'm not
hey,
even sure
details.
I'm not even sure the regular 40k community is filled with fanboys. I think there's a lot of them that criticize Games Workshop for stupid stuff that they do. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely some genuine fanboys out there, and I think we know of at least a few that we could list off, but point still stands. I don't think the actual fanboys, and by that I mean the ones that think that a fandom can, or that a IP can do no wrong, or that the people running the IP can do no wrong. I don't think those are the majority. But I digress. So,
I mean, after this whole heavy intercessors pricing, a lot, for some reason, only now people are starting to realize that, hey, Maybe Games Workshop's pricing isn't that great.
Well,
Like, wow, you don't say! You only now notice this.
well, it could be partly due to
Slow clap.
a lot of people haven't been doing that much shopping, period, anyways, aside from necessities. Because a lot of people are just stuck inside, or a stuck inside, or B, they might not exactly have a job. Their old job might not be still there, so that could be a possible explanation. If they've been living on welfare and all that, that they're trying to save money, and they're now starting to realize, yeah, things are overpriced.
And Games Workshop are probably realizing now that people don't really have a lot of money nowadays. This is just hypothetical, but they're probably thinking, well, damn, we can't sell as many things anymore, so we might as well just sell very expensive things.
Optimus
Don't
Jedi
know.
says...
Games Workshop's mindset is confusing.
It is. Optimus Jedi says, yeah, I remember when the Space Marine movie came out. Thunderous applause and was criticized in no way, especially regarding animation and plot. Sarcasm.
No, it's not Space Marine movie, it's Ultramarines movie. Just small correction there. Ultramarines. We are the greatest of them all.
Sebastian Isaac says, hello. Hello, Sebastian Isaac. Alright, so after Iron Within...
Greetings, Sebastian. Okay, so after a quick read here, when the beleaguered Astra Militarum forces face annihilation, they must turn to salvation from a most unlikely force. Is the enemy of your enemy really your friend? This brings interesting implications. Because considering that this is focused around Iron Warriors, this almost implies that there will be friendly Iron Warriors, which... No, just no. Just no. If that is what is happening, just no. No. Just no. I can't say that enough. No.
Alright. So, after that... Let's see. Altar of Wrath.
And I believe this is going to be that Black Templar dude that we saw a while back. Which was one of those that had pretty good visuals, but very poor animation and very poor voice acting. So this will be interesting to see what the upgrade does for him. However, I'm not completely sure. Anyway, Altar of Wrath. After grinding war of attrition, the last Black Templars of a crusade seek to strike a final decisive blow against the Necrons to end the battle for good. Right. Black Templars versus Necrons. Where have we seen this before?
So Forlorn Lancer says that Iron Within vid is apparently supposed to have Dark Eldar. Okay. So that...
Okay, that makes even less sense. Why would the Dark Elder ally with... No. 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 Bad. Stop it. You're gonna hurt my brain now.
Bad, GW. Bad. Optimus Jedi says the Imperial Fist did great in that movie. They accomplished the primary goal of losing. I'd say that as an Imperial Fist fan. Forlorn Lancer says, so the Dark Eldar are most likely to be the allies.
That makes no sense, and that is dumb.
Alfari says, oh, Emotech, the Templars need another good whooping.
The poor Templies. I something tells me Asmagon's gonna be keeping his eye out for this, seeing as Black Templars are his little favorites.
Yep. I spooked him the other day by
moving
suggesting.
on.
I spooked him the other day by suggesting that Marvel might end up making a Black Templar comic at some point. You heard about the one that they've already announced, though, right?
Yeah, and I'm not looking forward to it because, as we all know, when Marvel and Woman Thing item mix, it is not usually very pretty. There is usually a lot of screaming and shouting and quote-unquote feminism going on. So I am not particularly excited for this, regardless of who the writer is.
Alright, so, going back... Oh, Optimus Jedi says, "Oh god, Marvel, stay away from Black Templars."
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I want them
Keep
to stay
the
away
gates,
from it.
brothers.
Hold the line.
We shall not falter.
Forlorn Lancer says, and I quote, he's quoting from GW Community, "It brings a lot of new possibilities. We can't wait to deliver this story of Iron Warriors and Drukhari in the community."
To the community.
To the community, yeah. That was from an article on March 10th.
This is gonna be interesting.
Hooray. Alright, so, getting back to what we're reading,
Anyway,
though.
moving
Back
on.
Talon.
Right, so we got an Age of Sigmar thing here. We can skip past that because that is uninteresting as all hell because Age of Sigmar is dumb.
And then next up we have...
But for those that are interested, a notorious hunter is unleashed, slays Sigmar's most grievous foes, but the blah 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 blah, no one cares. Moving on. So, hold on. Old Rat, Black Talon, Interrogator! Now, from what I've seen, this is supposed to be some... basically... a drama... a dark drama... detective story.
You're getting a lot louder there for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not... Oh, damn. Okay. Well then I suppose I'm just louder now? I don't know. Anyway. Personally, I'm not too interested in this. Yes, it might bring us some more interesting and deeper aspects of the universe that hasn't gotten much light. Pretty much ever. But at the same time, I'm not too interested in an interrogator's story.
I mean, it might be interesting
But
because, again,
that-
it's fairly new territory.
It might. It might. I don't know. I don't remember who's writing this, but I remember that there was a... Okay, don't know what that was. I remember there was a bit of a... There was some talk over how it might be aimed more towards kids as opposed to fans. However, I don't know how valid that is. I'm not gonna be focusing on it too much.
So
But
wait,
just-
why would you... That actually brings up a really weird question. Why would you take something that's supposed to be a relatively untouched subject within the 40k universe, and instead of making it for the fans, the people that would potentially be interested in that, instead make it for relative newcomers that know nothing about 40k? It makes zero sense.
Remember Warhammer Adventures?
Yes, I remember Warhammer
Just remember
Adventures,
that. Remember that happened.
and that didn't make any
And
sense
now
either.
now your question is awesome.
Well, that
Yeah,
you could
exactly.
actually wait. That didn't actually. did that really go, however, into really common knowledge, or into really obscure stuff in 40K, or did that really just?
Well, we're kind of living. Well, we're experiencing the lives of what is essentially civilians, which is a bit of a rarity in Warhammer stories. You know, it's usually about the Space Marines and the Eldar. You know, you don't really see the view of the civilian, the normal people that often. Maybe the story of a remembrancer here and there, but that's about it.
So, anyways, well, darn. I do think this idea could be potentially interesting if they actually made it for, you know, the actual target audience, but if they're not, then this is going to completely fall apart.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The art style for the animation is also interesting, I suppose. It looks to be entirely in black and white,
I mean,
which just sounds depressing.
yeah, it might also be going for something
I mean,
a little weird.
yes, this.
It could also be them going for a noir style as well. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But anyway, so that's Interrogator.
Next up, we have
Now,
Broken Lance.
on to something a bit more interesting. Broken Lance. Towering war machines stride the battlefield in a drama that sees a survivor of a once noble house of Imperial Knights facing the sins of their predecessors. This, not just because I'm an Imperial Knights fanboy. Okay, this sounds interesting. Very interesting. I would like to see this. But I probably won't because of something we will talk about later.
Yes.
But for now, I like the sound of this. How are they gonna mess it up?
Let me read a comment from Optimus Jedi here. Not that I trust them to do this, but I'd legit pay money to see the Redeemer show up again in either animation or comics. We'll be talking about that.
No, please, no. Keep his legacy where it is.
We'll be talking a little.
If modern GW touches the Redeemer, it will not be pretty. So while I do share your enthusiasm, I do not share your hope and trust in Games Workshop one bit.
I think he did say he doesn't trust them to do that, or so.
Yeah, but still, you gotta have a bit of trust in Games Workshop to think that they might do the Redeemer justice.
I think it's
Some
more a
kind
case
of justice.
I think this is more a case of Optimus Jedi just wanting to see a continuation of the story, and that's.
I
I think that's a perfectly reasonable way. But anyways, let's so Broken Lance. Next up, we have Pariah Nexus, a Necron themed.
This is the third time Necron. Well, actually, hold on. One.
It doesn't matter. Let's just get to it.
Okay, well, the point is, wow, yay, more Necrons. Look, I get some Xenos races are starting to get stuff again nowadays. However, come on, let's be honest. We have more than enough Necron stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than enough Necron minis. There's more than enough Necron stories by now. Do we seriously need another Necron thing? Answer: no, not really.
Necrons.
But I suppose the thing interesting. I don't know.
So what you're saying is you think the Necrons have become the Ultramarines of the Xenos?
No, not necessarily. I just think that they're becoming just a little bit oversaturated as of late. Just a little bit. Not that much, but just a little bit. If you get my drift.
Yeah, Forlorn Lancer says, if the 5-second sound teaser was any indication, Necrons sound like an Eldar doing a bad impression of a Necron. Maybe it was actually an Eldar that we were hearing rather than a Necron.
Hold on, let me see if I can get to that clip. Ow, my ears.
But yeah, he does sound like an Eldar. Sebastian Isaac says, what's your opinion on what they did to the last church animation? I'm not sure about that. I'd have to have a link. Forlorn Lancer says, why can't we just have a Necron that sounds like Maccabee from Dark Crusade? That voice was perfect. Sebastian says, the GW lawyers have been assassinating competing animators. Yes, I have been noticing this, and we'll actually be talking about this a little bit. Now that you mentioned that, I know that they have been snagging up as pretty much anyone that makes fan animations at this point of 40K. So, anyways,
Okay, I just listened to the Pariah Nixus voiceover. Wow.
yes.
What a load of cuck. That is horrible.
Yep. It sounds more like a
I can do a
Eldar.
better voice. I can do a better voice with a free voice changer than this than whatever that was.
I know. So yeah, that. Let's move on from that, shall we? With the next thing, the High Lords. Which I'm pretty sure... I'm pretty sure the High Lords, they got the audio of the gal running the Sisters of Battle. Yes.
Yeah, the newest Mary Sue character to enter the Warhammer scene, whatever that chick's name was.
The one with the one that's
I'm
clad in that ridiculously stupid suit of armor.
Yep, that thing. Because apparently High Lords can just go into battle now? I don't know. But basically, it looks like this is gonna be politics. I'm hoping that it's gonna be genuine in-universe politics.
Maybe.
And not real-world politics.
Maybe,
But knowing Games Workshop, we might just get a few clips of the new Sister of Battle High Lord going, man bad, ugly straight white men, blah, women superior. Though, to be honest, there is a lesser chance of that happening than with Marvel.
That's true. Brother Olay says, "Get off my lawn!" Shouts the High Lord. All right. And finally we have Astartes 2, which really doesn't really need much of an explanation. So
no, it doesn't. Now
we get to talk about the other thing.
Hold on just a moment. We're still talking about these.
Okay.
I am kind of interested. So, to give them a bit of credit in the quote-unquote teaser trailer, we did see some new things. We got, well, first of all, we got to see Space Wolf playing wolf space chess with wolf teeth. Who's excited for that? Yay! Space Wolf playing Wolf Space Chase with wolf teeth. Right. Another thing we saw was Krieg and Orcs.
Mm-hmm.
Which I am a bit excited to see where that goes. Though
Same here.
I'm in no particular hurry. I'm in no particular hurry to see it. But anyway, so moving on to the next piece on our agenda.
Warhammer Plus.
Yes, good old Disney. I mean Warhammer Plus.
Where to start with this? All right, so let's talk about what this. They decided to create. They decided this is what's going to replace all the fan animation on YouTube. They're taking the fan animation off of YouTube and putting it onto this app called Warhammer Plus. And
it can be stated as such.
And get a load. Yeah. Get a load of this.
Hey.
And I quote. Oh. I actually had a pretty good quote here from the thing.
Hey. Yeah. You do your quote first.
Okay. So this bit here says, and I quote, "Of course, Warhammer Plus will offer far more than these animations. The full lineup and awesome subscriber benefits will blow your socks off. Subscriber benefits.
Subscribe. Yo ho fiddly dee. Living the life of a pirate is me. I am a pirate.
All right.
Yo ho intensifies.
Now, you were going to be saying, Xerius?
So, this can be phrased as what Games Workshop is saying is, hey, remember all those cool fan animations that were on YouTube? Well, now you have to pay for it. You're welcome. Oh, please hold your applause.
Let's see if I can actually get
You know
particular...
what Games Workshop? You can shove it up your ass. I'm not paying for that. Corporate scum.
There.
Yes, I will say that, and I will stand by that.
I actually fixed the...
What are we looking at?
I actually fixed the thing. Have a look on it. I fixed it for him.
What? How are you doing that?
Oh, you just hit inspect and then just type it in. But yeah, so I retyped it to say, "We threaten fan content creators to then sell their fan projects to you." That's pretty much what they've done.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, Warhammer Plus, the new and the new and I suppose cool Warhammer streaming service.
But anyways,
how many people are actually gonna buy this?
Now all you have to do is
it
just...
is literally Disney Plus all over again.
Oh, it gets worse than Disney Plus if you think about it. It gets a lot worse than that.
Oh yeah, no, it is definitely worse.
And there's actually,
not only are you
there's
paying them to see things that you've already seen, but it's gonna have a lot less stuff than pretty much every streaming service.
No, it's a lot worse than that.
existence.
It's a lot worse than that. And I'm going to tell you right now exactly why. There's 2 additional reasons I need to bring up. First of all, never forget Warhammer Plus, if it's going to be a monetary subscription thing, which it does sound like it's going to be, with it being a subscriber benefits program. It sounds like they are legitimately trying to sell fan content that Warhammer, that Games Workshop didn't make, but stuff that fans made. So they harassed and threatened the fans with copyright and all that, just so they can then sell fan content to you. So that's the first thing. But that also sets a very dangerous precedent, because if
sounds about right.
Yeah. It also sets a very dangerous precedent, because if they're doing this to animators already, where will Games Workshop stop? Are they also going to start going after lore channels too? Are we going to see them go after people like... are we going to see them going after people like Arch and trying to threaten him into becoming part of the whole subscription thing? Where you have to pay GW money to see his hot takes.
I'm gonna interrupt you there.
Or
I'm gonna interrupt
use
you
it,
there.
or hold on, or
Games
use it
Workshop
to...
does not want anything to do with Arch.
I was actually getting
They made
to that.
very clear.
I was getting to that. And this was actually the alternative. Or they might just simply use it as an excuse to just try to boot him off of YouTube. Say you're either going to join us, and we're not going to let you have free say in what you want, or we're just going to have you booted out of YouTube altogether. I mean, they already made Arch remove Warhammer from his channel name. So there is that right now. But it could apply... Thing is, it could happen to pretty much any lore channel if they really... or they could try to pull this with lore channels, because we know how autistic Games Workshop is when it tries to apply in copyright laws. Didn't they try putting a trademark on Warhammer itself? And pauldrons and crap like that? So...
Yep.
I would not be surprised if they tried using this at some point to try to get at content creators other than fan animations. And the fact that they're already going after fan animations is kind of messed up in its own right, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, really, where does it end?
I'm surprised Games Workshop's legal team hasn't gone after Attack on Titan with their Warhammer Titan. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
Alfaria says, I hope he disputes it so GW threatens every Warhammer channel on YouTube. Arch has actually said that he regrets not disputing it the first time, so he might...
Yeah.
So he might legitimately try.
He specifically said that he didn't want to, because he didn't want to pull every other Warhammer channel into this drama.
But now...
and of course, what do all those channels do for his basically sacrifice? They shun him and label him a Nazi, because this is clearly the actions of a Nazi.
Yeah, and not the Sigmarxism community that has some very, very choice opinions regarding the Skaven.
And the dwarves, and the orcs.
Yeah, and I'm never going to let the Sigmarxism Reddit live that one down for their stupid, stupid takes. Even though, the thing is, Sigmarxism, when that got brought up, they actually tried to hide the evidence by deleting the original Reddit posts and all that it came from. But fortunately... in shame, even though the post was well over a year old at that point, but fortunately, yours truly had archived it. So now, not only do we have evidence of them saying this, we now have proof that they tried to cover up said evidence because they knew it made them look bad.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And of course, this whole argument over Arch's channel name going against Games Workshop's copyright. Okay, let's look at some other channels. Let's take Chapter Master Valrak for example. Chapter Master. Makes you think. Makes you think. Of course, we already know by now that Games Workshop specifically threatened Arch purely because they did not like him.
Yeah.
Everyone knows by now that it wasn't actually because of any.
I mean, you're not
What's
wrong.
the word
It's
now? Trademark issues. It's not because of trademark issues. Period.
they just use that as a tool to go after him because everything is a tool to the political far left. And I just hope that the idiots in GW that were responsible have got caught and kicked out. Because once you're threatening the entire fandom...
I doubt it.
Who knows? Maybe the backlash was severe enough, and there is... And we are starting to see some woke leftists get the boot here and there. But, yeah. Well, is there anything more you really want to say about Warhammer Plus and the preview and all that?
It is garbage, and it is going to burn like garbage.
All right.
No one is going... Well, no one. Very few people are going to buy into this. It is basically hanging on to the... Okay, let's... Stupid mosquito. Let's consider this. Old fans by now have learned that Games Workshop is a scummy company. Their prices are borderline unethical, and so on. Intermediate fans are beginning to see this. So, basically, the only people that might buy into this are fanboys and quote-unquote fresh blood that doesn't know a thing about Warhammer.
Hidden Boss asks, will this affect them long term? Do they even learn from what they're doing? If we're talking about major corporations, eventually the financial losses will start kicking in, and they might eventually decide, oh crap, something's screwed up. Eventually. It might be 2 seconds before the end of said corporation, but eventually, yeah. As far as the woke far leftists are concerned...
I don't know.
The woke far leftists are obsessed with the idea that they are right and everyone else is wrong. So they will not learn. I mean, at the cost of taking this out of gaming and more into real world stuff, if you saw the recent how the elections went in the UK and how the Labour Party has just disintegrated itself and has lost areas that have been Labour for decades now, that's a good sign of how they still refuse to learn the lesson. That's an example of how the far left are just not going to learn, and basically have to be told to screw off. Now, anyways, so let's move on to something a little bit different. Iron Harvest, which is coming out.
What we got?
Iron Harvest, which is coming out tomorrow, has had 2 trailers drop between the last Ace cast and now. Optimus Jedi says, getting into Battletech has been a tiny fraction of the cost compared to 40k. Just started, and it's a bit of a breath of fresh air. Problem is, I'm so invested in 40k already, with both lore and models.
Yeah, I can relate there. I mean, I'm swapping over to recosts now because, well, 1, I don't want to support the company. 2, I'm getting into the Horus Heresy game system and side of the hobby, which is a lot nicer than the 40k and Age of Sigmar side. just saying. But 3, I cannot purchase world models, not just because of the price, but also because it is a massive risk shipping that stuff into this country.
Yep.
So, yeah, whenever you can find a cheaper hobby or a cheaper route or whatever, whether it be another game system or recast or the secondhand market, you know what? It's your hobby. Go for it. Just like the people that are sucking Games Workshop's dick, it's their hobby. Let them do whatever.
Alright,
Go for it. Just go for it.
So, let's actually watch that trailer now that I was going to show you. The trailer from Iron Harvest. There's actually 2 trailers, but I guess I can show the more recent ones because it's the gameplay trailer first, and then we can watch the other one later, I guess.
Iron Harvest is an alternative take on the history of the 1920s. Taking inspiration from this time of industrial change, Iron Harvest's fictional states and characters find themselves in the aftermath of the Great War. Huge diesel-fueled machines, invented to serve humanity, only lifted warfare to another level, and mankind had to realize that the war that was supposed to end all wars ended nothing. Usonia stayed out of the Great War, strengthening their industry, professionalizing their army, and building a powerful air force. America's past conflicts have been local, but the European catastrophe that was World War I paved the way for America to play a bigger role on the world stage. The question is, will they be saviors or conquerors? Introducing the ZR-25 Samson Essex, the pinnacle of Usonia's superior industrial and technological capacities. This gunfort comes in the form of an aircraft carrier and launches small drones that drop bombs on enemy bases. These small flies hunt down every remaining enemy reinforcement until nothing is left, making them a dangerous threat to be reckoned with. Hiding in the sand is Usonia's artillery mech, the M8 Atex Hornet. Always waiting for a surprise attack, this Usonian masterpiece excels at getting into firing range undetected and dealing damage over long distance. Its stealth ability enables the Hornet to hit targets that other artillery cannot, despite its comparably short range. Once discovered, enemy units need protection to come out on top in a devastating fight. The bravest of men become paratroopers, who perform more dangerous missions behind enemy lines. Their ability to deploy far away from their base makes them the perfect unit for ambushes or for quickly reacting to enemy attacks. Their passive ability enables this unit to intercept any capture attempts close to the player's base and enables quick reactions to enemy movement, as well as precise assaults on certain positions. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's Usonia's ZR-3 Revere Albacore. This flying unit fires different kinds of unguided rockets at every enemy approaching. The Albacore excels on maps with a lot of difficult terrain. With its ability to perform a long-range dash, it can bridge distances without interacting or damaging any obstacles or units in its way. The high mobility and high damage aspects combine to make it a very powerful and versatile unit,
scream there.
and one of Usonia's proudest achievements. Speaking of achievements, the ultimate powerhouse of Usonia's forces is commanded by Admiral George Mason. On board the Union's flagship, the BV-8 UNC Queen Langley, the second ship of the Benedict class, the Admiral makes freedom rain from the sky in the form of lead and fire. This juggernaut of an airship will leave behind a trail of devastation. With the ship's scorched earth ability, the Admiral ignites several flamethrowers and scorches any ground targets in his way. No other aircraft is a real match for the immense power of the Queen Langley. Usonia could become a beacon of hope for the oppressed, bringing freedom and justice to everyone. Or it could succumb to the temptations of power and become a new empire, ruling with an iron fist. It is now time for Usonia to make the 20th century its American century.
So, have you watched through the trailer in full? So yeah, that was the trailer, or the gameplay trailer, so showing you what exactly you can expect. And like I said, that game is, or that expansion pack, because let's be honest, that's what this is. A new faction, a whole bunch of new unit types for all factions, plus a brand new campaign. This is going to be an expansion pack. So, let's see some of the comments. What are your thoughts, Xerius?
Initially, I wasn't too interested in the Iron Harvest series game.
Mm-hmm.
However, seeing that big-ass airship with its flamethrower scorched earth ability, now I'm hoping someone some miniature company picks up the rights to this and makes their own game system around this, because I want that. I actually want that. I want that airship model. I want it. I want to paint it. I want to make it look cool and badass.
Let's see.
I want it.
So, some of the comments, let's read some of that. Brother Alay says, Iron Harvest, the only steampunk World War I mech game I want to play. There is actually another game set in the same universe that's going to be that's a grand strategy or something, but it is the same universe as this. Alferi says Usonia, or USonia, specialization bullet, indeed. Optimus Jedi is laughing. These units, good lord, America has stealth and Air Force, love it. Alferi says, I'm noticing a theme here, a Superman reference. Does Iron Harvest have a book or series? From what I understand, it's actually, strangely, it actually came from some artwork that someone had made, and they decided to create a universe out of that. That's how it got started. So it doesn't, I don't think it has a book yet, but it does have a, there are other games, at least one other game I can think of. Strategy, let me see what it's called, just for those curious. Set in the Scythe Iron Harvest. Okay. So Scythe is the name of the other game, I guess. I think Scythe is supposed to be a grand strategy or something like that. Let me check. So, yeah. Scythe, the Rise of Fenris.
Oh, man. There's only 3D printable Iron Harvest models. And they're all mechs.
Well, yeah, because the air stuff is coming out with this. All right. So
Yeah, but I mean, there isn't even just regular old infantry. It's just mechs.
Wait a
Not
second.
even buildings.
Oh, so I see. It's a board game. So yeah, there's already a board game out. Yeah, there is. It's called Scythe.
These are Link, maybe?
Sure, I got the link for you. Here's a wiki on it. So Brother Lay said, okay, so Alferi says the number is Mason. Brother Lay says freedom.
no.
Jesus, that firepower. Alferi says your freedom delivery has arrived. We didn't order any freedom. Too bad. Optimus Jedi says, oh god, I'm sold. Let freedom ring. Then unload a 50 cal in everyone's face. Where is our animal thingy? And though just needs an eagle. There is Alfarius, or there is artillery. So yeah, apparently there is a proper board game, and there is actually expansions. Oh, and one of the expansions did add airships.
Hold on, I'm trying to get my hands on trying to see what this is.
Oh, and there
I'm
is a
not
digital
getting
version.
Very good pictures.
There's a digital version
There's a
on
what?
Steam. There's a digital version on Steam.
Okay, I'm not interested in that. I want the models. I want the minis. I want to paint and build and stuff.
Let me see.
It doesn't look very impressive. It looks very minimalistic from what from the images I can pick up.
Oh, well, there's some that are and some that. Huh, cool. So there's actually some ironclad-looking airship or ironclad ships as well, and proper battleships and all that.
Oh hey, Take-A-Lot and Loot has it. Interesting.
But yeah, there are models and stuff apparently that. Alferi says there is artillery among us. Say the line, Ace. Okay.
Amogus.
Amogus. There is artillery.
Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Bum bum.
All right, so there is the other trailer, the story trailer. So I will, if it's all right with you, just go ahead and let that play too. Alferi says, Jesus, the artillery even looks like a crewmate from Among Us. Alright, so, are you ready for watching the other trailer now?
You can go for it. I'm still looking at these minis.
Okay.
Peggy 16.
So this is going to show off
With
some of
all
the
due
stuff from the
respect,
campaign.
sir, we can't stand on the sidelines while they redraw the maps for the 20th century. There's another opportunity. Arabia.
Deal with the situation, George.
Yes, Mr. President. I'll send our best man.
I serve my country the best I can, and there are no strings on me to pull.
Captain Mason demonstrated bravery and quick decision-making in a difficult situation. The king and his two sons have been murdered. But there is a new king. We need to be prepared. It's a dangerous world out there.
You ever want to see the desert?
Arabia is occupied by Saxony, but most of the Bedouin tribes tried to kick them out under the last king.
Any man or woman who refuses to bow to the Saxonians is welcome here.
I need to talk to the new king.
I don't believe talking to my uncle is in your best interest. Saxony intends to keep my uncle in power at all costs.
Oil is increasingly valuable to the powerful nations of the world, including America.
If you want them gone, you need allies.
Strong allies.
Why should I trust you? Our land is seen as nothing but a price to claim. How are you any better than the other Westerners who promised the stars while stealing the earth beneath our feet? Can you promise me that Arabia is not trading one occupier for another when I ask America for help?
These people are no freedom fighters. They're criminals.
But it's their country!
My people, my home, are not things to be traded or bargained with.
I know what success requires.
So, let's see. Optimus Jedi says, I love the World War I-esque feel to everything. Yeah, it does have a very distinct World War I feel. Alfarius says, so American Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah, that's what it seems like. And Brother Olay says, so this is the first game then, finally, an expansion that continues the story. Yeah, this is an expansion to Iron Harvest. So it is going to be a full-on proper campaign, too, from what I have seen. So that will be interesting. So, Xerius, how far are you on the trailer?
Pretty much finished it already.
All right.
It looks okay.
Yeah, it looks all right.
Though, to be honest, the animation quality is a bit...
It is a bit meh. Then again, though, this is a small... From what I understand, this is a smaller company, and they're using... And the publisher, Deep Silver, is kind of known for publishing smaller indie-esque stuff, so... Alferia says, I want to see the Japanese Gundams, and I do think there might have a Japan faction in this game, so that'll be interesting. But you were saying?
I've just finished looking at the miniatures for Scythe.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. It just doesn't feel very good. I hate to say that because it's a subjective thing, but it doesn't fit my tastes whatsoever.
Oh, fair enough, I guess. Dark Design says, good evening, everyone. I see they have gone with aeronautical dreadnoughts. They have indeed. Brother Olay says, smaller companies make great games, but somehow big companies ruin everything. Yeah, well, that's because big companies are obsessed with... they're obsessed with, big companies are obsessed with the bottom line to such an extent they'll make a game as accessible as possible, or they'll try to, at the cost of absolutely everything else. And accessibility means a lack of creativity when you get that extreme to an extent. Optimist Jedi says Scythe is a board game rather than a miniature game. Mm-hmm. That could be why, because it is...
Yeah, I get that, but still, it could look a bit better. But hey, that's just me.
To be fair, it's still a fairly new thing from what I'm seeing, so that might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Alright, so, is there any additional stories you want to cover, perhaps?
Honestly, not particularly.
Alright, well, I guess I can bring up another one that is also Warhammer 40k themed. Because we got ourselves some new stuff from Necromunda Hired Gun. I don't think I can play the music on this trailer because I'm pretty sure the music might be copyrighted, so I'm going to have to mute that, but I'm going to actually have a look. Brother Olay says, bring out the Thanos meme of what did it cost? Everything. I honestly still think this game looks still somewhat promising. I mean, I know the animation can somewhat be has been a little bit meh on some of the models, but then again, though, Strum as a company is one of the developer companies known for thinking outside the box and stuff like that. So I am still
Weapons still feel very not 40k-ish to me.
I don't know. From what I'm seeing, the weapons, they do legitimately look bulkier than the Modern Warfare sort of stuff that you were talking about. They don't look, I'm not sure they look as bulky as they should, but they definitely look a lot bulkier than your typical Modern Warfare thing.
I think it might be because of the barrels. the barrels and the magazines, I think, it might be my issue, because it feels more like a regular assault rifle as opposed to, you know, auto guns, las guns, bolters. I mean, even the bolters in this, from what we're seeing, are pretty, even for human-made bolters.
You think it might be because of just how big the magazines are, and that combined with how the weapons look kind of is causing it?
Yeah. I am noticing that there is quite an extensive amount of customization, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you can customize the Hound quite a bit as well, which does admittedly look interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of
let's look at this
heavy stubber.
Let's look at this heavy stubber. Let's see. Okay. It kind of feels like a heavy stubber.
Yeah, I think this actually looks decent.
However, the issue is the smoke trail. And yeah, this is nitpicking, but this is explaining what's going through my head. The smoke trail makes it feel like pistol rounds, as opposed to, you know, big ass rifle rounds.
So next up we have the auto gun. Brother Lay says Cyberdog is a good gun. See, the magazine looks absolutely massive for the firearm itself, so that could be part of it. So I think that might...
The magazine looks... It looks and feels way too big, especially considering that it seems to be firing regular rifle rounds. Which doesn't feel right. And I mean... Look, auto guns aren't... they aren't bolters, they aren't las guns. But they're not regular assault rifles either. They are a bit punchier.
I mean, the mag looks...
modern weapons.
It does look It does look a little bigger than what you'd expect a modern assault rifle to look, but... let's have a look at the stub cannon.
Yeah. Big-ass revolver.
With what looks like maybe a suppressor. Well, that would actually be weird for a revolver to have a suppressor. It's not unheard of, but...
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, because this comes to the size of the ammunition again. It feels way too small for the gun. Like you got this big-ass... They pretty much named it a cannon. However, it seems to be firing regular revolver rounds.
No, those ain't regular revolver rounds. Those are not regular revolver rounds. Those look like...
I don't know. They don't look very big to me.
Well,
but
your typical... Let's actually have a look here. Because I know it actually shows him reloading at 1 at... So we can actually see just how big they... There we are. Yeah, those are not regular revolver rounds. It looks as big as his fingers, the cartridges. Which suggests that that's probably... You're looking at the range of maybe 20 mil or 30 mil. Which is pretty impressive. But yeah, that is... So that would actually be a proper cannon range firearm.
I don't know. It still feels a bit small for the name cannon.
Well, a cannon...
When I hear the word cannon when referred to a pistol or a handgun, I usually think around about like, you know, like the stuff Desert Eagles and Pythons are chambered in.
Okay. You were talking. Okay, Desert Eagle is 50 cal. 20 mil is a lot bigger than 50 cal. 20 mil is a hell of a lot bigger than 50 cal. And also, Desert Eagle, it's not 50 cal BMG. That's another thing, too, I should bring up. But the point is...
No, obviously not BMG.
Obviously not. But the point is, 50 cal is 12.7 millimeter. That you're looking right there, as big as those are, you're looking 20 mil, I'd say, from those. But yeah, those are a lot bigger.
It still feels a bit small. I don't know why, but it just does.
Maybe it's because of the sheer bulk of the revolver. That is a pretty hefty.
It might be that. Compared to the size of the cylinder and comparing it to the rest of the gun, it does feel a bit oversized for what it is.
But I will say that would actually fit into the cannon category there. 20 mil is a cannon itself. It's not a particularly big cannon, but it is a cannon. So we have the I have to send this to you. The heightened senses augment showcase as well. We already actually have that, so I'll just let that play. Brother Lace says Cyberdog is a good dog. So you can actually, pick up some augments. Makes sense. So it's a bullet time. I mean, there's nothing particularly wrong with the bullet time mechanic, so... Alright.
Well, look, what I am liking so far is the level of customization in the weapons, characters, and companion. I am liking that so far, but so far that's about it. And of course, these quick showcases are once again showing off the stiffness of a lot of these animations, especially the ambot. Very stiff, very doesn't look and feel just right.
Like I said, I'm willing to let some things slide if it's a smaller studio, which this is. As so long as the gameplay is solid.
The thing is that I'm pretty much comparing this to Space Hulk, which quite a few people dislike for various reasons, but personally I like it because, you know, Dark Angels, Terminators.
Yeah.
But yeah, comparing the movement of the Ambot to something like, say, the Brood Lord or the Scythe Strain, even some of the other more organic, larger enemies, it still feels way less
smooth,
polished, let's say, than Space Hulk Deathwing.
Alright, so let's see.
I mean, that's just me.
Let's see here some of the comments. Brother Olay says, if a Desert Eagle fired a 50 cal BMG, the hands holding it would be in the one who fired it, if I'm imagining it correctly. More likely it would it would fly out of your hands the moment you fired and would start spinning because all the force admittedly is coming from the barrel. So it would be spinning and then it would wedge into you like a giant axe is what it would do. Or either that or it would bounce off your head after smacking you pretty solidly with it. Either way, it would be really absolutely unpleasant. To be fair, I have heard of firearms that people have made, handguns, as in sidearms that people have made, with significantly larger ammunition being fired. Some brave lad decided to apparently make a 2-bore rifled pistol. Now,
ouch.
Let me tell you why that's a thing. Why that is insane. 2-bore. The way bore is basically the same thing as gauge is for shotguns, except for, well, rifles, muskets, and pistols. The difference is, with a bore firearm, it is designed to fire not a shot, but a single projectile instead. So if it is a 2-bore, that means you're looking at half a pound of lead coming out of the goddamn barrel. And I know there's someone that, if I remember correctly, made a 2-bore pistol. In fact, I think he actually made a double barrel version of it as well. These things are legitimately insane, and they do cost an arm and a leg. And I'm not just talking about firing the darn thing. But here's actually a video of apparently someone actually testing this out with the old string and the classic old string and platform. So let's see. I know there's footage of guys actually firing these things before, but yeah, it's still always impressive when one of these things is effectively handled, I will have to say. But anyways, so Dark Design says bore was last used to rate cannons. Brave guy. Yeah. That is cannons, typically cannons are when you get into the pounders usually, but although these things you could technically call cannons in their own right, sure. I could see that. Optimus Jedi says this game does look pretty cool. I hope it turns out that way. Maybe the problem is, Mr. Dansan says, maybe the problem is we think of shooters in the hands of orcs first with kinetic weapons in 40k universe, or at least I do. That might have something to do with it. But
I have taken a look at the lasgun weapon showcase.
Mm-hmm.
The lasgun, at least. Okay, well, first of all, the barrel is it feels way too thin. It feels way too spindly. The end of it does look nice. The body looks alright.
Oh, hey, I actually got something.
The massive magazine looks a little out of place, but it does exist in universe, so it's not too much of a stretch. And it does seem to operate pretty accurately to how a lasgun would operate if you pump up the juice enough.
Alright, so I got something for you. So let me actually show you the link too, so you can actually get to it. Because the guy actually does show himself firing it. That thing I was telling you about.
Yeah. So I saw it already.
So you already saw him handling it and shooting it?
Yep. And it looks ow. How is his arm still attached?
You have to be pretty strong to actually handle something like that. And it looks like he's actually braced himself in a way that it's actually causing his entire body to kick back from the recoil. To be fair, part of it is because it is part of it has got to be because of the extremely... Also, this poor guy, his buddy, that is not how you hold a pistol like that. You don't want to be standing back with your back arch like that. That's not going to end well. You have to lean into those kinds. But, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so I do think that's going to... I'll pull up the lasgun weapon showcase real quick.
Oh, geez, you can see when the older guy shoots it, it almost sends him off his feet.
That's why you don't.
Poor bastard.
That's why you don't lean back when using those.
No, you lean into it.
That posture. I mean, respect for the guy to fire it, but respect to the guy for shooting it, absolutely. And he did actually manage to keep it in one of his two hands, to his credit, and he didn't hurt himself, because that is a very nasty hammer to have fly back into you.
Oh, yeah.
Forlorn Lancer says, fucking hell, that's big. Yeah, it's designed to shoot a half pound of lead. It pretty much is a cannon, and yeah. Frankly,
AKA skull go bye-bye.
The one saving grace has got to be... Well, there's two saving graces to that design that kind of make it feasible. The first is the fact that it's got such a short barrel, meaning that it's not going to have that much time to build up that much recoil on you. Although that also kind of has a problem in its own right, because it does mean at the exact same time. So what I'm talking about is it's probably going to lose a lot of energy out the front of the barrel because of the shorter barrel length. So the round is not going to go that fast because of the shorter barrel, but it also means less weight, which is also going to cause more of a kick in its own way. But fortunately, the sheer weight of this thing should hopefully reduce some kick, though it's still going to be an absolute beast to handle. Forlorn Lancer says, my drill sergeant would have smoked the dog shit out of me if my stance was like that. Yes, and he'd be absolutely right to. Brother Olay says, the lasgun looks like a mix of old and new versions of lasgun to me. But anyways, so I do think we are at a good stopping point, though. So, yeah. So, ultimately,
yeah, and I'm a bit in a hurry to get back to my painting because the competition ends this week, and I'm not close to finishing it yet.
Well, hopefully you do well. But yeah. So
I don't know.
All right, so I hope you all have enjoyed the live stream, and this has been Ace.
This has been Xerius, as always.
And we hope you continue to have a good time, and we will see you again, hopefully rather soon, on Thursday, hopefully. But yeah, have a good one.
See you later, lad.